शरणाम संकीर्तन की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। We are reading from Canto 10, Chapter 84. Chapter is entitled The Sage's Teachings at Kurukshetra, Text 17. अनीहयेतद् बहुदैक आत्मना सृजत्यवत्यत्ति न बध्यते यथा भूमैर्हि भूमिर्बहुनामरूपिणी अहो विभुम्नश्चरितं विडम्बनम् अनीहयेतद् बहुदैक आत्मना सृजत्यवत्यत्ति न बध्यते यथा भौमैर्हि भूमिर्बहुनामरूपिणी अहो विभुम्नश्चरितं विडम्बनम् अनीहयेतद् बहुदैक आत्मना सृजत्यवत्यत्ति न बध्यते यथा भौमैर्हि भूमिर्बहुनामरूपिणी अहो विभुम्नश्चरितं विडम्बनम् Aniha, exerting no endeavor. Etat, this universe. Bahuda, manifold. Ekaha, alone. Atmana, by himself. Srijati, he creates. Avati, maintains. Atti, annihilates. Nabhadyate, is not bound up. Yatha, yes. Bhaumai, by the transformations of earth. He, indeed. Bhumihi, earth. Bahu, many. Nama Rupini, having names and forms. Aho, aho. Vibhumna, of the Almighty Lord. Charitam, the activities. Vidambanam, a pretense. Translation and purport by disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhagavan Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada disciples ki jai. Indeed, the human-like pastimes of the Almighty are simply a pretense. Effortlessly, he alone sends forth from his self this variegated creation, maintains it, and then swallows it up again, all without becoming entangled, just as the element earth takes on many names and forms in its various transformations. Purport: the One Supreme expands himself as many without diminishing his completeness. He does this effortlessly without depending on anyone or anything else. This mystic process of the Lord's self expansion is incomprehensible to all but himself. But the example of the substance earth and its manifold products bears through enough resemblance to provide some idea. The same example is also presented in an often cited passage of the Chandogya Upanishad. Vacharambanam vikaro namadeyam mritiketye eva satyam. Earth's transformations are merely verbal creations of the process of naming. The substance earth itself is alone real. Srila Sridhar Swami suggests that this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam answers a possible objection on the part of Lord Krishna. How can I create, maintain, and destroy the universe if I am Vasudeva's son? The answer is given by the words, Aho vibhumnas charitam vidambanam. You are the perfectly complete whole, and your birth and pastimes are only an imitation of ordinary person's activities in the material world. You simply pretend to be under higher control. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadameham Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapad Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tvam Sajiva Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutali Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namini Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatharini Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namini Gauratase Namo He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Nishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Nilachala Nivasaya Nityaya Paramatmani Balabhadra Subhadrabhyam Jagannadhaya Te Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahodito Gaurodaya Pushpavanto Chitra Shando Tamonudo. So from the dawn of creation, this is a bewildering subject that how can Krishna be transcendental and at the same time be involved? Because if someone is involved, he is not transcendental. And if someone is transcendental, he is not involved in general. This is how we have the experience in this material world. For example, if a company boss, if he is involved in day-to-day affairs, then he is involved. But if he is not involved, then he is somewhere sitting somewhere else. He is in his own world, and somebody else is involved. So it's a bewildering aspect for everyone that how can Krishna be involved and at the same time be transcendental. So for sadhakas also this is a very important thing. Why it is important? Because the process of sadhana involves knowing about Krishna. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tatvatah tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti so Arjuna. The process of sadhana involves knowing how Krishna's activities and pastimes are activities and birth and all these things are everything related to Krishna is transcendental. So if Krishna is doing something at the same time, he's not at the same time, it seems to be material, but at the same time it's not material. So this is so the process of sadhana bhakti involves understanding this also. So unless and until a sadhaka understands this, unless and until a sadhaka sees Krishna in each and every aspect of his life, at the same time understands that Krishna is transcendental to matter, then only he can understand Krishna's actual nature. Unless and until a sadhaka understands that how Krishna is involved in each and every aspect of one's own life, and at the same time he is transcendental to material modes of nature, unless and until this understanding dawns on a sadhaka, it's not possible to attain higher realms of devotional service. So, like for in this particular verse and purport, it is explained that how Krishna is Vasudeva. He is the son of Vasudeva. He is the son of Vasudeva. He is Vasudeva. He is son of Vasudeva, and at the same time, he is also he is son of Vasudeva. That means seemingly he is one among many millions of living entities. Because there are millions of living entities at that time. So he is one amongst them, seemingly. At the same time, he is transcendental because from him the whole universe has emanated, from all the universes have emanated, and so he is the son of Vasudeva. At the same time, he is also transcendental. So so how is it explained? It is explained the whole. Therefore, the creation, the subject of creation is detailed, is given in great detail in Srimad Bhagvatam. In order to understand that how from Krishna everything emanates. If we read second and third cantos, it's given in great detail each and every step how Krishna is, from Krishna, from Vishnu, from Krishna, all the three Vishnus are coming, and from Vishnu, how all the universes are coming, and how each universe, within the universe, how different elements are being formed, and at different stages, how Vishnu is involved in different ways by which the whole universe can happen, a whole universal creation can happen. So that's explained in great detail. Now, somebody may ask why so much detail is given. What is the point in understanding this? First of all, we don't understand only so many things, and we don't have extra information also to understand. Only Bhagavatam is there. Science does not speak about it. Science has a total different understanding. Material, the science which we have, it has a total different understanding. So we can't, whatever information we get from Bhagavatam, and some devotees may speak, depending on Bhagavatam only, and maybe some commentaries from some acharyas. Whatever information we have, that much only we have. That's all. More than that, we don't have. If we want to know the technical details, we can't know. Why? Because the material science, it speaks about some other subject altogether. So the perspectives do not match only. So it's very difficult to understand only in the first place. So somehow, let us say we make a great endeavor to understand. So therefore Bhagavatam gives explains in great detail so that we can understand that how Krishna is transcendental, and at the same time he is creating the whole creation. He's making the maintenance, he's doing the maintenance, he's doing the annihilation, and at the same time he is also transcendental. In order to explain it, this whole subject is one of the reasons is the whole subject is explained. And Vidura and Parikshit, they ask so many questions about for this reason only. There are so many chapters. Full chapter is involved, filled with questions. Second canto, 8th chapter is all questions. Similarly, Maitreya asks, Further inquiries by Vidura. That is, I think, third canto, 7th chapter. The chapter is entitled only inquiries. So like that, the whole chapter is filled with only questions. There are 20 questions, 25 questions, the one after another questions, and then the whole Bhagavatam is answers to these questions. So, yeah. So in second canto, 8th chapter, there is one verse which explains that there is a great detail spoken about material energy. Why is it spoken? Let me see if I can find that verse. I think it comes in last verse of second canto, 8th chapter. No. No. It's not second. Anyway, I'm not able to find it. But this verse speaks about that how this so much material energy is spoken in Bhagavatam. Why is it so spoken? It is spoken because by understanding and analyzing the material energy, one becomes free from the material energy, free from the material entanglement. So simply by understanding and analyzing the material energy of the Lord, one becomes free from the material entanglement. How somebody may ask, how is it possible? It is possible because that is spoken in Bhagavatam. Imagine if we say, okay, you analyze matter, then you will become free from material entanglement. How is it possible? It is possible because if we hear it from parampara and if we hear it in proper with a proper understanding, then only uh, we'll be able to transcend it. Otherwise, we'll not be able to transcend it. So like that. So yeah. So coming back to our original point that a sadhaka has to understand how this matter has come from Krishna, and at the same time it is different from Krishna, and Krishna is involved in it, but at the same time he is transcendental to it. So unless and until a sadhaka goes through this process of understanding all these things, he'll not be able to attain perfection. So that is the point we are explaining. So we'll have to see the creation in brief, and then we'll explain how Brahmaji went through this process through the creation, because this verse speaks about creation. So Brahmaji went through this process of creation, and he explains about his own experience that how Krishna is the creator, at the same time he's involved, at the same time he is transcendental. So, second canto, 5th chapter, and also third canto, 5th chapter, they explain in detail about creation, how creation happens. Now, we will not get into details of creation, and otherwise we'll feel sleepy. So, basically, when Supreme Lord Vishnu, he glances on the matter, so he impregnates the living entities into the matter. So the impregnation happens to when the living entities come into the matter through his glance. The impregnation happens through his glance. Angani yasya sakalendriya vrittimant. Prabhupada explains that for Krishna to impregnate, he need not touch material energy. It can happen through his glance, which is Jai Nitai Gauranga ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So for Krishna to impregnate matter, he need not touch material energy. He can glance it and still he can impregnate. So that glance is called as Shambhu. It is elsewhere explained. It is explained in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita in one purport. Prabhupada explains in great detail. That glance is nothing but Shambhu. That glance is nothing but Shambhu, and material nature, of course, it is an manifestation of Durga. So in that way, impregnation happens. So, and what is the impregnation? The impregnation, what the jivas, what do they carry? They carry three things. They carry Their karma, they carry their swabhava, and Kala is also there. Kala is involved throughout. Kala is involved throughout. So, Kala, Karma and Swabhava, this is how impregnation happens. So, the Jivas, they carry their Swabhava and their Karma from previous lives, previous days of Brahma, whatever you call it as. So, they carry it from their previous history. So, the Jivas are impregnated in this way. And now the material universe is in a dormant state. So once, because of the effect of Kala, so constantly everything happens because of the effect of Kala. The time is like, for example, morning it's 6 o'clock, morning 4 o'clock. So it's very dark, and then it becomes light. Light comes, and then slowly and slowly it becomes hotter and hotter and hotter. By 12 o'clock, it becomes very hot. And then by after 2 o'clock, the heat starts decreasing. After 3 o'clock, the heat starts decreasing. And again by night, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, it becomes extremely dark. So now how does it happen? It happens simply by effect of Kala. Nobody does it. Nobody does anything about it. And we just have to see, that's all. So similarly, the effect of Kala, and Kala is something which is, which is already applied upon by Vishnu himself. So by effect of Kala, this transformation happens. So by effect of Kala, the Pradhan, first of all, Pradhan comes, and from the effect of Kala, Mahatattva comes, and Mahatattva is primarily in Sattva and Rajas, Rajogun, and by effect of Kala, in Tamogun, Ahankara comes, and Ahankara in mode of goodness, it gives rise to mind and all the sense devatas. In mode of passion, it gives rise to intelligence and all the senses, and in ignorance, it gives rise to tanmatras and elements. So that detail is spoken in both second canto 5th chapter and third canto 5th chapter in detail. So this is how the effect of Kala in each and every step, now all these transformations are happening. Here nobody is involved. Because the glance of Vishnu is there, therefore all the transformations are happening. So Vishnu is implicitly involved in each and every step in that sense. But still now the sense devata, the first living entities which have appeared, which have come here, are the sense devatas. In the universe, the first living, even before Brahma, generally we think devatas come after Brahma, which is true, but these devatas are different. So these devatas have come before Brahma has appeared also. Brahma comes far later. So these devatas, they have come, and all the elements are there, and they are all in. So till now, all the elements are happening by themselves. By themselves in the sense, we say by themselves, but they are happening by the energy of Supreme Lord Vishnu. So by the energy of Supreme Lord Vishnu, all these elements have appeared. By the energy of Supreme Lord Vishnu, the devatas have appeared, and the devatas now they have a task to complete the remaining thing. And all the elements, all the 23 elements, 24 elements are in a unmixed state. So the devatas, they don't know what to do, and they can't do anything. So then they start offering prayers, because they have this task of the remaining, completing the remaining thing. So then they start offering prayers. So once they start offering prayers, and so they are helpless, again. So each and every step, basically we are saying that each and every step Vishnu is involved. So they start offering prayers, then Garbhodakshay Vishnu enters. After they offer prayers, and after a certain duration, the Garbhodakshay Vishnu enters into the universe. And from Garbhodakshay Vishnu's navel, Brahmaji appears. So after Brahmaji appears, then the creation happens. Of course, this is all part of creation. Then the secondary creation happens. This is all primary creation. Till Brahmaji's appearance, it was all primary creation. And after Brahmaji's appearance, then secondary creation happens. So then Brahmaji starts off. Brahmaji, when he appears, so after Brahmaji appears, then he is bewildered. Because he is the only living entity who is there. So he is bewildered. He does not understand what to do. So then Brahmaji starts offering prayers. Then Brahmaji starts praying. When he starts praying, then he hears the word tapa. So then he starts doing penance. So the interesting thing, so now we have to see the nature of Brahmaji's penance. So Brahmaji, he starts penance, it says that he offers penance, he does penance for many, many lifetimes, for 1,000 celestial years. So in this whole process, this whole process is explained in, second canto, 5th chapter, it's explained in second canto, 10th chapter, it's explained in third canto, 5th chapter, and several other places as well. So now, so when Garbhodakshay Vishnu enters the universe, the Garbhodakshay Vishnu enters the universe. So what happens after that is that, so Garbhodakshay Vishnu, he is there, his presence is there, and Brahmaji offers prayers, and Brahmaji starts using the limbs of Garbhodakshay. It's explained that Brahmaji is using the limbs of Vishnu. Now, what do you mean by limbs of Vishnu? Because Garbhodakshay Vishnu is there, and Garbhodakshay Vishnu's limbs. So Brahmaji says that I use the limbs of Vishnu in order to do penance. His whole sadhana is Brahmaji's sadhana here is doing penance, and he uses the limbs of Vishnu. So now these limbs of Vishnu, but Garbhodakshay Vishnu's limbs are transcendental in nature. So how does Brahmaji say that I am using the limbs of Vishnu? So that is explained. So this comes in Brahmaji's penance. It comes in second canto, 6th chapter, verse number 23 to 30. Now Brahmaji's tapa, the process when he offers tapa, when he speaks about tapa, so that is at a different place. That is probably in 9th chapter. Yeah, we'll go and see that also. But here that the how Brahmaji offers penance, that is explained in 6th chapter. Yeah, that's in 9th chapter. We'll go and see that later on. But here Brahmaji's penance we are discussing, because it's quite related to sadhaka. That how Brahmaji's penance is, when he is offering penance, he sees the ingredients which are being offered by Vishnu to be non-different from Vishnu. So, yeah. So this is second canto, 6th chapter, verse number 23. So he says, when I was born from the abdominal lotus flower of the Lord, Mahavishnu, the great person, I had no ingredients for sacrificial performances except the bodily limbs of the great personality of Godhead. And what are the bodily limbs? You have to see what are the bodily limbs. So next verse. For performing sacrificial ceremonies, one requires sacrificial ingredients such as flowers, leaves, and straw, along with the sacrificial altar and a suitable time. Other requirements are utensils, grains, clarified butter, honey, coal, earth, water, the Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, and 4 priests to perform the sacrifice. Other necessities include invoking the different names of the demigods by specific hymns and vows of recompense in accordance with a particular scripture for specific purposes and by specific processes. Thus, I had to arrange all necessary ingredients and paraphernalia of sacrifice from the personal bodily parts of the personality. Again, he speaks about personal bodily parts of the personality of Godhead. Now, if you see these all parts, he's saying leaves, straw, flowers, and then he says Rig Veda, Samaveda, Yajurveda, and the specific hymns and vows. So they don't seem to be bodily limbs of the Lord. But again he repeats, these are all ingredients of sacrifice which I am arranging from the personal bodily parts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By invocation of the demigods' names, the ultimate goal Vishnu was gradually attained, and thus compensation and ultimate offering were complete. Thus I created the ingredients and paraphernalia for offering sacrifice out of the parts of the body of the Supreme Lord, the enjoyer of the sacrifice, and I performed the sacrifice to satisfy the Lord. So again he is repeating, the bodily parts of the Supreme Lord have been arranged, I have accumulated them, and using them I am offering sacrifice and I am pleasing Vishnu. My dear son, thereafter your 9 brothers, it goes ahead anyway. So now how does Brahma understand that these are bodily? Why, with what understanding he is speaking about this? Because Brahmaji has seen, it's not that Brahmaji is saying, okay, it is surely there that, from all whatever the bodily part, whatever the ingredients which he is speaking of, they have ultimately come from Vishnu. That is one reason, no doubt. That is one reason. Apart from that, there is also another reason. The another reason is it is explained in Bhagavatam itself that how this whole universal creation is non-different from Vishnu is explained. And when Garbhodakshay Vishnu had entered, and Brahmaji started the process of creation, then the whole the whole universe which had manifested, that is non-different from Hiranyagarbha, which is Virat Purush. Now this Virat Purush is a very special being. Why he is very special? Because he is non-different from Vishnu, he is non-different from Garbhodakshay Vishnu. At the same time, he is a material form. So Brahmaji has this understanding that how this Virat Purusha or Hiranyagarbha is non-different from Vishnu, and at the same time he is a material. So when Brahmaji is saying, so there could be two reasons. One reason is ultimately from all these ingredients are coming from Garbhodakshay Vishnu. So there is no doubt about it. Second reason is also that this Garbhodakshay Vishnu, from this Garbhodakshay Vishnu, Hiranyagarbha has come. And Hiranyagarbha is this Virat Rupa, and the bodily limbs of Virat Rupa are these ingredients. So therefore, it is logically we can establish also. Brahmaji has a logic to establish that how these limbs are actually the bodily parts of Hiranyagarbha, who is not different from Garbhodakshay Vishnu. So therefore, the whole chapter, Purusha Sukta confirmed, the whole chapter, it says that how the Supreme Lord is the material and effective cause of the universe. Now, according to Aristotle, there are four causes: effective cause, material cause, and there are two more. I don't remember. I read it long back. So there are four causes. So for any object to happen, there are four causes. So Brahmaji is explaining in this chapter, he is establishing this conversation is happening with Narada, this whole conversation is happening with Narada in order to establish that how Vishnu is he is the cause of all causes, he is the effective and material cause as well. So these verses are very special in the sense that Brahmaji speaks his own experience. He says, he tells about the whole universal creation, how Vishnu is involved there. From Vishnu, the Kala has come, through his glands, this whole material transformation has happened. He's explained that. And then, the sense devatas, they have come and they are not able to understand what to do. So Garbhodakshay Vishnu had himself got involved and he did the whole creation. He explained that. And this is how this whole Hiranyagarbha has come, and this whole different planetary system, all 14 planetary systems have come. He has explained that. So all these things he is explaining, and after explaining all these things, he is telling from his own experience. So that is these particular verses. He is telling from his own experience that how the ingredients which I have got, he says they are all bodily limbs of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You see, he is saying that the ingredients of the universe are bodily limbs of the Supreme. In this way, Lord is the material cause of the universe also. So he is telling from Brahmaji is explaining from his own experiences. So these verses are, so now these verses, where do they come? These verses, they come after Brahmaji has appeared. You see this 23rd verse which says that when I was born from the abdominal lotus flower of the Lord Mahavishnu, the great person, I had no ingredients for sacrificial performances except the body limbs of the great personal devotee. So Brahmaji is born and he is bewildered. That comes in 9th chapter. And if you go to 9th chapter, yeah, 2.9.5. Lord Brahma, the first spiritual master, supreme in the universe, could not trace out the source of his lotus seed. So Brahma, he had appeared and he could not trace out the source of his lotus seed. And while thinking of creating the material world, he could not understand the proper direction for such creative work, nor could he understand, nor could he find out the process for such creation. So he's bewildered. He's not able to understand where he has come from, what he has to do, how he has to do creation, and all that. So while thus engaged in thinking in the water, Brahmaji heard twice the nearby two syllables joined together. One of the syllables was taken from, he heard the words tapa. When he heard the sound, he tried to find the speaker searching on all sides, but when he was unable to find anyone besides himself, he thought it wise to sit down on the lotus feet firmly and give his attention to the execution of penance as he was instructed. Lord Brahma underwent penances for 1000 years by the calculation of the demigods. He heard this transcendental vibration from the sky and he accepted it as divine. Thus he controlled his mind and senses, and the penances he executed were a great lesson for the living entities. Thus he is known as the greatest of all ascetics. So, and the verses go ahead. So now the process of penance is explained here. Here, Brahmaji had heard the words tapa, and then it is explained that he did penance for 1000 celestial years. But the process of, how he executed penance and what is his experience while doing the penance, that is explained in these verses. This is from which we were discussing, 2.6.23 to 30. Where he was saying that, all the ingredients in order to do performance, in order to do sacrifice, I have got from the bodily limbs of Vishnu. And then this is how he is explaining his experience to Narada, that in this way, the Lord is the material cause. Why he is explaining all these things in these verses? He is explaining all these things in these verses in order to explain his own experience to Narada, that how he has explained all the whole creation. This comes in 2.6. Before this chapter is the whole creation. 5th chapter is the whole creation. And 5th chapter, second half is explanation is about Hiranyagarbha. And then after that, this chapter comes wherein Brahmaji and before this he speaks about spiritual world and all that also. And now he is explaining his own experience, that why Vishnu is the material cause. And in that explanation, he explains that the ingredients which I got for the sacrifice, I have obtained them also from the limbs of the Vishnu only. So this description is given. So this is a very wonderful description in the sense that in the sense that Brahmaji is telling his own experience. After explaining the whole theory, after explaining the whole process of how the creation happens, now he is telling his own experience, that how Vishnu is non-different from this matter. So now, so Vishnu is non-different from his matter, and at the same time he has also established that how Vishnu is transcendental to the matter. So having gone through this experience, and he had attained perfection. So and what happens after perfection, that is also explained in 2nd Canto 9th chapter. Again we go back to 2nd Canto 9th chapter. So we have read till verse number 8. Now, so after attaining these realizations, then one gets an understanding to be able to meditate on Lord Vishnu, with full absorption. So these beautiful verses come of Lord Brahma. After attaining the perfection, he is absorbed in Vishnu. Tasmai Svalokam Bhagavan Sabhajita Sandarshayam Asa Param Nayat Param Vyapeta Sanklesha Vimoha Sadvasam Swadrishtavadbir Purushair Abhistutam. The Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, being thus very much satisfied with the penance of Lord Brahma, was pleased to manifest his personal abode Vaikuntha, the supreme planet above all others. This transcendental abode of the Lord is adored by all self-realized persons, free from all kinds of misery and fear of illusory existence. Now the transcendental spiritual world is explained in few verses after this. So this realization which Brahmaji is experiencing, it comes after the experience of his penance, and that penance is already discussed. So what are now these verses, they describe the Brahmaji's experience of spiritual experience, experience of spiritual world, where he is completely absorbed and completely merged in seeing how Krishna is totally transcendental.
You know how Krishna's position is beyond the spirit, beyond matter, for for all, beyond matter, completely beyond matter. In that personal abode of the Lord, so the personal abode of the body Lord is being described here. In that personal abode of the Lord, the material modes of ignorance and passion do not prevail, nor is there any influence of the goodness. There is no predominance of the influence of time. What to speak of illusory external energy? So it's very clearly explained that how Krishna is completely transcendental. So then the inhabitants of Vaikuntha, beautifully it is explained. The inhabitants of the Vaikuntha planet are described as having a glowing bruise. So now Brahmaji is going through that experience. He is able to see that, having gone through his penance, having gone through his sadhana, he has come attained complete perfection, where he is seeing where he is getting that vision of total absorption in the inhabitants of Vaikuntha. श्यामावदाता शतपत्रलोचना पिशङ्गवस्त्रा सुरुचा सुपेशशा सर्वे चतुर्बाहवोन्मिषन्मणि प्रवेकनिष्कबरनावसु Suvarchasa. The inhabitants of the Vaikuntha planets are described as having a glowing sky bluish complexion. Their eyes resemble lotus flowers. So Brahmaji is getting this experience now. He's getting that beautiful, he's able to meditate on that beautiful forms of the personalities of Godhead, of the spiritual world. Their eyes resemble lotus flowers, their dress is of yellowish color, and their bodily features very attractive. They're just the age of growing youths. They all have 4 hands. They're all nicely decorated with pearl necklaces, with ornamental medallions, and they all appear to be effulgent. प्रवाल्य वैडूर्यं नृणालवर्चसा परिस्फुरत् कुण्डलमौलिमालना. Some of them, so now, so the descriptions are given. Now in detail the descriptions are given. They are effulgent like coral and diamonds in complexion, and having garlands on their heads, blooming like lotus flowers, and some wear earrings. Now the descriptions of the planet is given. The Vaikuntha planets are all surrounded by various airplanes, all glowing and brilliantly situated. These airplanes belong to the great Mahatmas or devotees of the Lord. The ladies are as beautiful as lightning because of their celestial complexions, and all this combined together appear just like the sky decorated with blue, both clouds and lightning. The goddess of fortune in her transcendental form is engaged in the loving service of the Lord's lotus feet, and being moved by the black bees, followers of the spring, she is not only engaged in variegated pleasure service to the Lord along with her constant companions, but is also engaged in singing the glories of the Lord's activities. So in this way, Lord Brahma saw in the Vaikuntha planets the personality of Godhead is the Lord of the entire devotee community, the Lord of the goddess of fortune, the Lord of all sacrifices, and the Lord of all universe, and who is served by the foremost servitors like Nanda, Sunanda, Prabala, Arahana, his immediate associates. So anyway, the translations go ahead. See, now Brahma goes into ecstasy. That is explained in 18th verse. Brahma, thus seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his fullness, was overwhelmed with joy within his heart. So he has got the perfection now. He has got the absorption, the penance which he has absorbed for 6,000 celestial years has come to a completion, and he got the vision. So he has gone into ecstasy. Thus, seeing the personality of Godhead in his fullness, was overwhelmed with joy within his heart, and thus in full transcendental love and ecstasy, his eyes filled with tears of love. He thus bowed down before the Lord. That is the way of the highest perfection for the living being, Paramahamsa. So, and then the translations go ahead. So now, so after this, so this is the whole process. The process involves to see that how Lord Vishnu is transcendental, and at the same time he is involved in this matter. He is present in each and every aspect of our life, and at the same time he is transcendental. So that is how the process goes through, and then one goes, after going through this process, then only one comes to the perfection. So after that, the Chatushloki Bhagavatam comes, and Brahmaji starts asking questions, and then once Brahmaji goes through this process, then Vishnu gives him benediction, and he says that don't worry, you'll not be you go ahead, and he also gives him knowledge of how to do creation. He just explains about Chatusloki Bhagavatam. He tells him how to do creation, and he says, you go ahead, and these realizations will remain with you. He gives blessings that these realizations will remain with Brahma, and he says, while doing creation, still you will not become entangled, because these realizations will remain with you. So like that. So Brahmaji is very fortunate in the sense that, he has underwent a whole penance, and then, he started his service. So therefore, and he has blessings of Vishnu. So therefore, it can be taken for granted that he will not become entangled while doing his service, like that. Yeah. So yeah. So similarly, for as we also as sadhakas, we have to go through this process of understanding that how Krishna is involved in each and every aspect of our life, and at the same time he is transcendental. So this is the process of sadhana bhakti. Yeah? As we go ahead, we go through this process. Generally, sometimes we have an understanding that, we have made different circles in our life. One circle is Krishna circle. Another circle is okay, is different. My work circle, my uh, my health circle, my relationship circle. In this way, we make different circles in our life. That is good to begin with. But then over a period of time, we should make one big circle. That is Krishna circle, and all circles should come under it. So everything has to be seen in relation with Krishna. So that is the exercise we have to undergo over a period of time. We make a big circle, Krishna circle. Brahmaji has done the same thing. And he made a big circle. He saw that how Vishnu is there in each and every aspect of creation. At the same time, he is transcendental. We do another mistake. This is one problem we have. Another problem we have, when we bring everything under Krishna circle, we tend to think that Krishna is matter, spirit as matter, and that is the cause of offense. Now, because we get spirit very casually, we are fortunate that we got spirit very easily. So therefore, we tend to think that spirit is not different from matter, and that is offense. So both are problems. One problem is we keep Krishna aside and keep matter aside. So that is one problem. Another problem is we tend to we keep spirit, Krishna, and within it we try to see matter, but in the process we may end up seeing Krishna himself as matter. That is also a big problem. So as a sadhaka, we have to go through this process of, just as Brahmaji had gone, we have to go through this process of being able to see Krishna in every aspect of our life, and at the same time seeing him transcendental, like that. Okay, thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada. If someone has one question, they can ask. Oh. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, in this sloka, it appears that Lord Krishna is everything. His creation, maintenance, everything. So Mayavadi also have this theory. So they say that, okay, you are worshipping Krishna, but that Krishna is everything. You are seeing the differences, that is a vikar. You are seeing the differences, it is vikar of Brahman. You are seeing this is human being, this is dog, this is cat, this is vikar. But that uncontaminated Brahman, he is the supreme, which from which everything is created. So only difference between our philosophy, their philosophy is, here we are considering Lord Krishna is everything. They consider Brahman is everything, and then it takes form. So how do we refute this philosophy?
No, we also agree that Lord Krishna, we say that Lord Krishna is everything, no doubt. At the same time, Lord Krishna is, he also, Brahman comes from, Brahman is his own aspect. Brahman is Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavan iti Shabdate. So Brahman is the aspect of Krishna. And from Brahman only this Pradhan comes, Mahatattva comes, Pradhan comes. And so it's not that we disagree. We agree. We only say that Krishna is still transcendental.
But Krishna is the source of that Brahman.
That's okay. So that's what we are saying. So they Mayavadis, they say that okay, Krishna has come and he becomes subordinate to matter. That we disagree. That we disagree. That we reject. We say he doesn't become subordinate to matter. He remains. He comes. He is still transcendental. So he he is there. Krishna is there in each and every anu. He is there as Paramatma in each and every anu, and at the same time he is transcendental. Mayavadis, they say that okay, from Brahman, Krishna comes, he comes into under mode of goodness, he becomes matter. That we disagree. And they may have a conception that from Brahman all these different uh, uh, all these different planets come, all these different material manifestations come, so they become matter. And Brahman, which is involved, which is involved in moving this matter, that becomes matter. That we disagree. Because Paramatma, he comes and actually the whole the matter, it is being directed by Paramatma, and still Paramatma is transcendental. So the disagreement is here. Disagreement is that Krishna is involved everywhere, but at the same time he is transcendental. So Mayavadis say that, but we agree that from everything Krishna comes. We agree that from everything Krishna, Krishna, everything is a manifestation of Krishna's energy, and ultimately everything comes from Krishna. At the same time, Krishna is transcendental. So Mayavadis say that everything comes from Brahman. At the same time, Brahman becomes and Brahman becomes subordinate, and they don't have a reason to explain how Brahman becomes subordinate. They just say that it becomes subordinate. So that we disagree.
No, they don't say Brahman becomes subordinate. They say that Krishna is subordinate to that Brahman.
Whatever, first of all, they don't know, they don't have an understanding that from Brahman comes from Krishna. So therefore that problem is there. So therefore they say that Krishna is subordinate, whatever, but we don't accept that. We say that Brahman, the origin of Brahman is Krishna, and Krishna remains transcendental always, like that.
Thank you.
Haribo. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.